Want to know the latest and hottest music hitting the airwaves? Don't be left out. Listen to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast. Keith keeps you on the loop with everything you need to know from pop, rock, hip-hop, and the top 40. And we'll throw in news of your favorite artists, concert and tour dates, and so much more. Listen no further, because this is the gold standard in music podcast.
Hello and welcome to the GSMC Music Podcast, brought to you by the GSMC Podcast Network. I am your host, Sarah, and we have a lot to talk about today in terms of news from the music world. We are going to start with the BET Awards that happened on Sunday. That would be yesterday, I guess. Yes, I know what day it is. And the BET Awards, of course, are more than just music. They cover many aspects of Black entertainment, including acting, movies, television, sports, etc. But in terms of music, some of the winners from this year's BET Awards, the video of the year was Childish Gambino, This Is America. Best female R&B pop artist was Beyonce. I wonder how many times she has won that. That's pretty cool. Best male R&B pop artist, Bruno Mars. Best female hip-hop artist, Cardi B. Best male hip-hop artist, Nipsey Hussle, and he was also honored during the event, and I believe I saw that his family were there and spoke at the event. Best new artist, Lil Baby. Best group, Migos. Best collaboration, Travis Scott featuring Drake, Sicko Mode. Album of the year went to Cardi B for Invasion of Privacy. The Viewer's Choice Award was to LMI for Trip. And Dr. Bobby Jones' Best Gospel Inspirational Award went to Snoop Dogg featuring Rance Allen for Blessing Me Again. And I said this on another podcast that when I think of gospel and inspirational, I don't immediately think of Snoop Dogg, but hey, I'm all for crossing genres, doing something that maybe is a little bit unexpected or not in your normal genre of doing things. So good on you, Snoop Dogg. I have not heard the song. I should go check it out. There were, of course, other categories, not music related. Regina King won for Best Actress. Michael B. Jordan won for Best Actor. Black Klansman won Best Movie. Serena Williams won Sportswoman of the Year. Stephen Curry won Sportsman of the Year. BET Her Award, HER Hard Place, and yeah, so there's lots of different categories, and you can check out all of those who won, unless of course you tuned in and saw it. I always like to tune into awards shows for the red carpet. I just like to ogle people's outfits. I have no desire really to get dressed up and go be on the red carpet, but I like to watch people who do it, which is kind of crazy, but that's just how I am. Speaking of challenges, I guess I wasn't really, but it would be a challenge for me to get dressed up and go be on the red carpet somewhere. Have you heard of the newest challenge, which is the Get Down Challenge? And this came to my attention because many, many people kept posting this video on my Facebook, Twitter, whatever timelines, and so it's the video that I keep seeing is one of a young black man. He is wearing nothing but cowboy boots and a pair of very shiny red shorts. He is dancing to this song, which made me, and people keep posting it. He's really good, and it makes me laugh. There's a lot more booty than I'm used to in line dancing, which is just part of the entertainment value. But he's very good. And so people kept posting this, and I fell down a rabbit hole trying to figure out what it was and who it was. I'm still not sure who it is, but if you just type in Get Down Challenge, you will come up with the Get Up Challenge, not Get Down. the Get Up Challenge, you will come up with a million different videos of people doing this challenge. And it turns out that this is a song by Blanco Brown. It originally was on Spotify, but it is going up the charts now, and it has become this new challenge. He, let's see. So you may be familiar with the song Old Town Road by Lil Nas X and Billy Ray Cyrus. Now this is kind of following in the footsteps of that country rap. There have been black people in country. I keep seeing comments saying, don't just think this is where it started, and that's true. There have been black people in country music before this, but now maybe bringing rap into country music is a slightly different take on that. They're calling them country rap artists. And so Blanco Brown was headline Spotify's showcase at the CMA Fest, highlighting what he calls trailer trap, and that is an example of that is in his Get Up that he released in April of 2019. Geez, I can't talk. So he's quoted as saying, "When I wrote and recorded the Get Up, there was just this energy around it that made all of us so happy. It's so exciting to see that energy connecting organically with people around the world." This was in an interview with USA Today. "Young and old, female or male, black, brown, or white, it seems to be bringing a smile to everyone's face, and that is a big part of what I believe is driving this virally." And yes, it is. It's gone viral. Not just that video that I saw, but just when you Google it, there's Ryan and Rose. Pharrell is doing the Get Up Challenge. I saw videos of Blanco Brown at a housewarming party that he'd been invited to, doing the Get Up Challenge there. He makes an appearance in one with a couple dancing in front of a pool, and then partway through the video, he turns up. Did I say Pharrell? Pharrell is doing it. I think I did. I saw one with a father and a daughter, very cute. So it's just kind of a fun challenge, not one of the crazier challenges that has been out there in the world, and there have been a lot of them. So, not a lot of chance of hurting yourself. Well, for me, there's a lot of chance of hurting myself. I could trip over something. I could fall in that pool. Yeah, so be careful if you're doing the Get Up Challenge, if you're clumsy like me. So our next story is that Billboard as part of their Black Music Month celebration, they have asked Black artists spanning all genres to compile their own unique playlist exclusive to Billboard's Spotify account. Each song they've chosen reflects their admiration for fellow artists from previous generations to the new millennial era who have made an impact on the culture. So they have this whole list of this whole group of people that they've asked to do this, and the most recent one that I saw is from singer-songwriter Taylor Parks, who shares her soundtrack. African-American singer-songwriters have had such a beautiful impact on multiple genres of music over time, she told Billboard about her list. "The artists that I put on this playlist are people I feel continuously pushed the boundaries for their creative peers and their listeners. The power that lies within being an artist who's making music that expands your fans' palette is worth far more than a stream or album sale. They inspired me and dared me to be myself, whether people get it now or in the future." Her debut project, We Need to Talk, was released on April 5th. She recently wrapped up a stint on Lizzo's 'Cause I Love You tour as the opening act, and you can see her playlist on Billboard. A couple of the songs on there. Let's see, Are We Still Friends by Tyler the Creator, Playground by Steve Lacy, If I Was Your Girlfriend by Prince, Millionaire by Kellis and Andre 3000, Lens, Frank Ocean, Remind Me, Patrice Rushen, Hurtin' by Toulouse, You Are My Heaven featuring Donny Hathaway, that's Roberta Flack and Donny Hathaway, Truth Hurts, Lizzo, Don't Bother Calling, Moses Sumney. So that's the first 10 on her playlist, but there are more. Looks like there's almost 30, unless this is not the entire list. So you can check that out. You can check out other Billboard lists that people have come up, the people have come up with for Billboard, that celebrate Black Music Month. And we are going to go ahead now and take our first break of the podcast. When we come back, we have more news from the world of music, of course. So stay tuned. You're listening to the GSMC Music Podcast, and I will be right back.
Always on the go, but the day just won't be one without your Hollywood fix. Let Golden State Media Concepts Entertainment Podcast take care of that. An all-inclusive look of pop culture.
Welcome back to the GSMC Music Podcast. Before the break, we were talking about playlists, and I have another story that involves pub playlist, a slightly different genre of playlist this time. This one comes to us from the group Juju, and it is a Summer of Pride playlist. So Juju is comprised of Jamie Stewart and Angela Seo. They are an experimental pop rock group, and they've been around for a while. They've been around since 2002. It sounds like they have an eclectic mix of music. It says citing an eclectic mix of sonic influences from British post-punk and industrial to modern Western classical. Juju first began in quote-unquote isolation in San Jose, California, circa 2002. They are now signed to Polyvinyl, and the group got their start on the Riot Girl and queer-friendly Portland, Oregon imprint Kill Rock Stars, and have remained committed to tackling complex socio-political issues in their music, from gender dysphoria, suicide, loneliness, and insanity to abortion, queer life, and much more. Their latest LP, which is more experimental and titled Girl with a Basket of Fruit, was released this past February. Now, as part of Billboard's Summer of Pride, as well as their upcoming European Fall Tour, which includes a stop at Quebec's Pop Montreal Festival in September, Juju's Jamie Stewart created a Pride-themed playlist that speaks to his eclectic sonic influences. He says, "This is Pride music of contemplation, solitude, and insular experience. It does not mean that parties are dumb, nor is dancing dumb, nor are 4-on-the-floor boogie beats dumb," he says, "but being alone, staring at the ceiling deep in reflection and listening to no discernible square beats, it all is not dumb either." The playlist is meant, he says, not in any way to be an anti-fun contrarian for the sake of being an anti-fun contrarian, but to try and represent those of us who are, while celebratory of queerness, are also by design introverted and unsocial. So this is a playlist for the introverted and unsocial. Many of us identify with that and might be happy to have a playlist that defines our lives. So for the set, Stewart handpicked a list of queer musicians who might call experimental or noise must punk or modern classical minimalist. Stewart says, every one of whom has shaped and guided and taught and touched my own feeble musical life as a devoted fan and as a player, hoping to be a gram as devoted as them. Thank you all so much for being yourselves and for helping me to try and be myself. For that is what Pride is about, and that is what queerness is, and that is what a life truly lived is. Therein be ye old point of this list. So there is another list for you to check out if you are interested in that. Definitely different from our last playlist, but that's what I like. A couple of choices from this. Wow, this one is 29 minutes and 7 seconds. It's called Gay Gorilla. Julius Eastman, Frank Furco, Patricia Martin, and Janet Kattis. Number 2 is Horse Sings from Cloud, Pauline Oliveros. Melancholia 1, William Basinski. Music for Amplified Toy Pianos, which is 17 minutes long. John Cage, Danielle Lombardi, Giancarlo Cardini. And then it goes on from there. This one has, it looks like about I see at least 16 quotes on it. Songs on it. So if you're looking for something to help celebrate Pride, or if you are a little unsocial and a little introverted, which again, many of us are, you may want to check this out, and you may want to check out Juju's music and see what they're all about. I just like to offer up some alternative options for things, because there's so many different artists out there, and there's someone for everyone in terms of the music world. Supposedly there's someone for everyone in terms of the dating world too, but it's definitely true in terms of the music world. In other music news, Rolling Stone reports that Mumford & Sons has extended their North American fall tour. They are joined by Gang of Youths, Lord Huron, Portugal, The Man. Let's see. So they will continue their tour in support of their 2019 album Delta this fall with newly announced North American tour dates. They will play August 3rd at Los Angeles' Bank of California Stadium and will perform 20 more shows in the U.S. and Mexico, including 3 nights at the Fiddler's Green Amphitheater in Greenwood Village, Colorado, before concluding at Austin City Limits on October 13th. Oh, that's cool. So supporting Mumford & Sons on the tour are Australian indie rock band Gang of Youths, with special guests Portugal, The Man, Lord Huron, Tennis, and the Milk Carton Kids at select stops. Verified fan pre-sale begins Thursday, June 27th, so coming soon at 10 a.m. local time, with general on sale starting Friday, June 28th, also at 10 a.m. local. So if you are looking to get tickets for that, then you should check it out. They have the dates listed and where they will be and when. So if you are wanting to see Mumford & Sons on their North American tour, you should definitely go check out their tour schedule and see if you can get one of those tickets. Next up, there is a report that a new Dixie Chick album is coming. Someday. So, yeah, okay. Around this time last year, according to theboot.com, Natalie Maines dropped some not-so-subtle hints on Instagram that she and fellow Dixie Chick members Emily Strayer and Marty McGuire had spent some time in the studio. Fans who have kept following her on social media have seen some behind the scenes of more studio time, photo shoots, and more, but still there's been no word on when this new album will appear. A quick video posted to Instagram over the weekend, however, shows more than visual cues. The trio took turns saying Dixie Chicks album coming before a surprise appearance by producer and musician Jack Antonoff, who deadpanned someday. Nice. So in seconds, the Dixie Chicks and Antonoff established that a follow-up to 2006's multi-Grammy Award winner Taking the Long Way is in the works, even if there is no set timetable for its completion. So, yeah, I mean, it is coming. It's just not coming at any specified given date. And, wow, I knew it had been a while, but 2006... that makes me feel kind of old that it's been that long. At any rate, beyond its socio-political ramifications within the country music world, a new Dixie Chicks album would be well-timed. Brooks and Dunn, Reba McEntire, George Strait, Trisha Yearwood, and others have tapped into nostalgic demand and classic country appeal on their commercial returns to form, and the Dixie Chicks could easily do the same while introducing a new wave of fans to blood harmonies and string band instruments. And that listing right there, Brooks and Dunn, Reba McEntire, George Strait, Trisha Yearwood, that pretty much defines my college years of music. Not necessarily listening, although I did listen to it some, but those were the artists that were around when I was in college, and I went to college in Montana, so it was a lot of country music all around. And I even saw, I think I know I saw Reba McEntire in concert, and I believe I saw Brooks and Dunn in concert as well. So there you go. Now you know. I'm old. You already knew that. At any rate, that is the announcement. Not maybe what fans were hoping for, but at least there is a new album coming. You just have to wait a little longer for it. We're going to go ahead and take that second break of the podcast, and when we come back, we'll be wrapping up with some more new music news stories. So stay tuned. You're listening to the GSMC Music Podcast, and I'll be right back.
Tired of searching the vast jungle of podcasts? Now listen close and hear this out. There's a podcast network that covers just about everything that you've been searching. Hey! The Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network is here. Nothing less than a podcast bliss with endless hours of podcast coverage. From news, sports, music, fashion, cooking, entertainment, fantasy, football, and so much more. So stop lurking around and go straight out to the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. Guaranteed to fill that podcast itch. Whatever it may be. Visit us at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, and download us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and Google Play.
Hello and welcome back to the GSMC Music Podcast. You may have heard that Woodstock 50 has been having some definite issues in terms of actually getting off the ground, but now it has been reported that a smaller Woodstock 50 festival could possibly be held at an upstate New York harness track and casino. Oh my gosh, that's hilarious. I mean, I'd read that sentence before, but when I read it out loud again, it just made me think that is so not Woodstock at a casino. At any rate, Town of Vernon Supervisor Randy Watson tells the Poughkeepsie Journal that Woodstock 50 has applied for a permit to hold its concert August 16th through the 18th at Vernon Downs, about 35 miles east of Syracuse. Watson says the proposed capacity was 45 to 50,000 people, far smaller than the 150,000 planned at the initial venue, which was Watkins Glen International. Woodstock concert promoters had no comment on this. Vernon Downs owner Jeffrey Gural said in an email Monday they're close to signing a letter of intent. Today, actually. They're close to signing a letter of intent and could host up to 65,000 people, but without camping. The festival has faced serious setbacks, including Watkins Glen pulling out earlier this month. It sounds interesting. I mean, if it's kind of getting down to the wire, if we're here at the end of June, they're hoping to hold it in less than 2 months. They still don't have a venue. It could be okay, but if they were hoping to kind of do their best to recreate the original, then not having camping, which would make it much more complicated, of course. I don't know. First of all, I don't think that you really can recreate Woodstock because it was held at a very specific moment in history. And while I think celebrating it would be great, I'm not sure how this is going to turn out. But it could be fabulous. I don't know. Don't listen to me. I'm just telling you that it might be back at a new venue, but it might not be back also. Who knows? The 62nd Annual Grammy Awards dates and deadlines are set as of today. Recording from the first 9 months of the eligibility year must be submitted by July 8th, which is coming up very quickly. So the clock is ticking on submissions for the 62nd Annual Grammy Awards. Voting and professional members of the Recording Academy and registered media companies have 2 weeks to submit recordings from the first 9 months of the eligibility year for Grammy consideration. The first round of the online entry process opened today, this morning at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and will close on July 8th at 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Except aren't we in daylight time? Doesn't matter. A second 2-week round of submissions is scheduled to begin July 17th, but the Academy says that round is reserved for July and August 2019 releases. So recordings released from October 1st, 2018 through the end of June 2019 must be submitted by the July 8th deadline. That second and final round concludes on August 2nd at 6 p.m., again Pacific time. So first round voting, which determines the nominations, begins September 25th and ends October 10th. Then the nominations will be announced on November 20th. Final round voting, which is to determine the winners, begins December 9th and ends January 3rd, 2020. I actually find that kind of fascinating. I didn't know the full process behind it. I didn't realize that it was quite that lengthy of a process. I guess it makes sense when I think about it, but I hadn't really thought about the process behind the Grammys before. The Academy previously announced the eligibility year will close on August 31st for the first time in a decade. The close of the eligibility year was moved up a month after the date of the 62nd Annual Grammy Awards telecast was moved up 2 weeks to January 26th, 2020. That change was made because the Grammys didn't want to go head-to-head with the 92nd Annual Academy Awards, which moved up to the Grammys' intended date of February 9th, 2020. The Academy is hosting 2 training webinars this week. Members must register in advance to participate. Very interesting. While both Recording Academy members and registered media companies may submit recordings into the Grammy process, companies are not permitted to vote. Only voting members have that right. This is only the second time in 44 years that the end of the Grammy eligibility year has been moved up from its traditional September 30th cutoff. This also happened in 2009 when the eligibility year also closed on August 31st. That adjustment was made because the Grammy telecast was moved to January 31st, 2010 to avoid competing with the Winter Olympics in Vancouver. Interesting. In the past decade, the Grammy telecast has moved to January 2 more times, 2014 and 2018, again to avoid conflicting with the Winter Olympics. The eligibility year was not, however, I assume the eligibility date is what they meant, was not, however, adjusted in those 2 years. Well, there you go. In terms of awards, as I mentioned at the beginning, the BET Awards were this weekend, and Mary J. Blige's Lifetime Achievement Award shows how BET beats Recording Academy in R&B honors. The singer has yet to receive a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Recording Academy, and that's true of most BET Lifetime honorees. Mary J. Blige is the 19th recipient of BET's Lifetime Achievement Award. She did receive the award, at the BET Awards. And Regina Hall hosted those awards. But like all of 6 of the previous BET Lifetime Achievement Awards honorees, Blige has yet to receive a Lifetime Achievement Award from the Recording Academy. Just 3 BET Lifetime Achievement Award recipients, James Brown, Al Green, and Smokey Robinson, had received the equivalent honor from the Recording Academy before they got the BET Award. 3 other BET Lifetime honorees, Earth, Wind & Fire, the Isley Brothers, and Diana Ross, subsequently received an Academy Lifetime honor. So that means that 13 of the BET honorees have yet to receive that award from the Recording Academy. Some of them are Prince, Whitney Houston, and Lionel Richie. That's kind of crazy. 6 of the 19 recipients of BET's Lifetime Achievement Award have yet to win a competitive Grammy in any category. They are Ross, either solo or with the Supremes, the OJs, Maze featuring Frankie Beverly, Charlie Wilson, either solo or with the Gap Band, actor Samuel L. Jackson, and New Edition. Maze and Jackson were never even nominated for a Grammy, though that's not really surprising in the case of Jackson, the only actor to receive the BET Lifetime Achievement Award. Makes sense. Wow. So, yeah, I'm surprised by a few of those, Whitney Houston, Prince, Lionel Richie. Well, a lot of them, actually. So, interesting. Somebody needs to figure that one out. Get on the stick over there, people. At any rate, It is time to go ahead and wrap up this episode of the GSMC Music Podcast. Thank you so much for joining me, and please join me again next week when we will be talking about whatever music news happens between now and then. Hope you have a wonderful week. Thanks.
You've been listening to the Golden State Media Concepts Music Podcast, part of the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network. You can find this show and others like it at www.gsmcpodcast.com. Download our podcast on iTunes, Stitcher, SoundCloud, and Google Play. Just type in GSMC to find all the shows from the Golden State Media Concepts Podcast Network, from movies to music, from sports to entertainment, and even weird news. You can also follow us on Twitter and on Facebook. Thank you, and we hope you have enjoyed today's program.